What if the winds of fate had blown in a different direction? What if one of the most promising talents in the UFC hadn't been cut short by unexpected circumstances? Today, we're diving into the what if of Zabit Magomedsheripov's career. Imagine if he never faced a career-threatening setback. Picture this, Zabit, with his unique style and hunger for victory, preying on the featherweight division. How would his journey unfold? We'll be scrutinizing the rankings from 2019 onwards, discussing potential matchups, and asking the big questions. Could Zabit secure a title and embark on a dominating run? Join me in this intriguing exploration into the hypothetical saga of Zabit Magomedsheripov. As most of you already know, Zabit's last fight took place in November 2019 against Calvin Kattar, where he emerged victorious by unanimous decision. But in this alternate timeline, Zabit doesn't retire. Instead, he's matched up with another highly anticipated opponent, the up-and-coming talent, Yair Rodriguez. Rodriguez faced rumors of hesitancy, but in this reality, we all get to witness the spectacle of the two most exciting fighters in the division, maybe even the UFC, facing each other. Let's see how it plays out. Now, as you can imagine, this fight lived up to the hype and more, with both fighters dropping each other multiple times and wowing their crowd with their insane output. Zabit opened up a cut on Rodriguez, affecting his vision, allowing Zabit to hit him with a two-touch spinning kick to the liver, connecting with the other foot on his chin on the way to the canvas and finishing him off in the third round with relentless ground and pound. The crowd erupted in awe, witnessing a performance that would go down in MMA history as one of the most exhilarating showdowns in the featherweight division. Now that Zabit has secured a decisive victory over Yair Rodriguez, placing us in the timeline around March 2020, anticipation mounts for his next challenge. Fast forward to December 2020, right after the conclusion of Volkanovski vs. Holloway 2. At this juncture, it seems only fair to grant Zabit a shot at Volkanovski. No one else in the division appears more deserving, and Max Holloway, having had 2 shots and falling short, leaves the audience eagerly anticipating whether Zabit can dethrone the reigning champion. At this point in time, the MMA community was still buzzing with debates over the Volkanovski vs. Holloway rematch. Some argued that Max had won, questioning Volkanovski's deserving champion status.
Did anybody in here score it for Volkanovski? Anybody have it for Volkanovski?
It's essential to note, this isn't the same Volkanovski beloved by everyone today. In this era, many doubted if Volkanovski could handle Zabit's wrestling prowess and unorthodox attacks. The majority of fans were rooting for Zabit, eager to witness if he could indeed emerge victorious and reshape the featherweight hierarchy. Now, let's delve into how this high-stakes showdown unfolded. The fight kicks off in typical Zabit fashion, with him landing kicks to Volkanovski and seemingly cruising through the first 2 rounds. Zabit drops Volkanovski, looking like an unstoppable force. However, at the end of the second round, Zabit starts to gas out, and Volkanovski seizes the opportunity. Over the next 2 rounds, Volkanovski picks up the pace, ultimately finishing Zabit with a roundhouse kick to the body and an extra punch for good measure. Unfortunately for Zabit, he couldn't sustain his early dominance, allowing Volkanovski to adapt and secure the TKO finish. So, now that Zabit has faced defeat in his first title opportunity, what's next for the Dagestan star? Many fans scrutinized the Volkanovski fight, suggesting that Zabit got exposed for his cardio, especially after a notable gas out against Calvin Kattar. However, Zabit is ready to silence the doubters, determined to prove that it was a one-off and would not happen again. He's booked to face the cardio machine himself, Max Blessed Holloway, in a 5-round fight night main event for his next outing in mid-2021, with the winner getting a rematch with Alexander Volkanovski. Many people believed Max's cardio would be too much for Zabit, and obviously, Max has the best chin in MMA, so no one could see Zabit knocking him out. Analysts are saying his only way to win is by submission in the first 2 rounds. Let's see if they're right. Zabit absolutely dominated Max from start to finish, taking him down in round 1, controlling him, and landing nasty ground and pound that opened up a bad cut on Max's eye. Rounds 2 and 3 were more of the same, with Zabit now mixing in strikes to worsen the cut. By the end of round 3, I'm surprised the doctor hasn't stopped the fight, as Max literally looks like his face has been smashed with a claw hammer. But apparently, the referee thinks it's fine, and obviously, it's Max Holloway, so he's down to carry on. Zabit outstrikes a one-eyed Max and wins the decision 50-45, proving everyone wrong and lining himself up for a rematch with Volkanovski. Next up, we have the highly anticipated rematch between Volkanovski and Zabit taking place at the end of 2021. Lots of people were saying it was going to be a repeat of their first encounter, but others argued that before he gassed out, Zabit was winning comfortably. They brought up the fact that he went 5 rounds with Max and absolutely dominated, so they think he has what it takes to get it done this time. As always, there's only one way to find out.
Tail the tape for this featherweight fight. Now to get us started, the veteran voice of the Octagon, Bruce Buffer.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is the main event of the evening. It's time! 5 rounds in the UFC featherweight division. Introducing first, fighting out of the blue corner, Zabit Magomedsheripov. And now introducing his opponent, fighting out of the red corner, Alexander the Great Volkanovski.
The fight ignites with Zabit landing a thunderous head kick that opens up a cut on Volkanovski's forehead. Sensing blood, reminiscent of the Holloway fight, Zabit strategically targets the same spot with a relentless barrage of punches and kicks. Volkanovski, unable to see clearly on that side due to the impaired vision, struggles to defend against Zabit's precision strikes. Despite his corner's best efforts to stem the bleeding, it proves insufficient. Zabit wastes no time in the second round, employing leg kicks to set up a masterfully timed head kick knockout. This well-executed game plan not only secures Zabit's victory, but also sets the blueprint for defeating Volkanovski, an accomplishment realized 2 years later by Islam Makhachev in reality. After the devastating head kick of Alexander Volkanovski, the question arises, what's the next step for Zabit? As we enter 2022, there are a couple of options on the table. The first, and most obvious, is a trilogy fight with Alexander Volkanovski, given their 1-1 record against each other. However, for the sake of a different narrative, let's delve into the 2022 rankings and consider a matchup with the number 5 ranked Brian Ortega. This is a fight that most fans assumed Zabit would win, but MMA is a sport where assumptions should never be made. Ortega's skill set presents a unique challenge, and as we've seen time and again, anything can happen inside the octagon. In a showcase of dominance, Zabit absolutely dismantled Brian Ortega, landing strikes at will and even putting Ortega's BJJ skills to the test against his own wrestling prowess. Ortega found himself a bloody mess, essentially punching air for nearly the entire 25 minutes. In the 5th round, Zabit delivered the finishing touch with a jump switch kick to Ortega's face, causing him to fall forward onto the canvas. This remarkable performance marked the first defense of Zabit's career and stands as his best performance to date, with an astonishing 72% striking accuracy. Ortega's chin was finally cracked, solidifying Zabit's position as a champion to be reckoned with in the featherweight division. Following his dominant win over Brian Ortega, Zabit is once again set to face Alexander Volkanovski in their trilogy bout. Instead of contending for the belt directly, Max and Volk had their own trilogy earlier to determine who would face Zabit again, with Volkanovski emerging victorious. For brevity's sake, let's assume Zabit wins the decision, setting the stage for a super fight between Zabit and the lightweight champion, Islam Makhachev. This clash is monumental, with Zabit boasting 2 title defenses and victories over Alexander Volkanovski, Yair Rodriguez, Brian Ortega, and Max Holloway. At this point, with no equally exciting contenders in the featherweight division, a matchup against Islam Makhachev promises a battle of the Daghestanis, bringing together 2 of the most formidable fighters from the region.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is the main event of the evening. It's time! 5 rounds for the UFC Lightweight Championship of the World. Introducing first, fighting out of the blue corner, presenting the challenger, Zabit Magomedsheripov. And now introducing the champion, fighting out of the red corner, presenting the reigning, defending, undisputed UFC lightweight champion of the world, Islam Makhachev.
Unfortunately, this isn't a happy ending for Zabit. Despite a close matchup on paper, Islam Makhachev dominated from start to finish. Utilizing his grappling expertise and weight advantage, Islam took Zabit down, controlling him on the ground and delivering devastating strikes. Opting for a safe approach, Islam secured a decision victory, sending Zabit back down to the featherweight division. I understand this might not be the way Zabit's career would have unfolded, but that's the beauty of speculation. I genuinely believe he had a great chance against Max and Volkanovski without those diaphragm issues haunting him. Yet, if the super fight with Islam had materialized, I lean towards Islam's victory, considering his size advantage and their past Sambo encounter. What do you think? Could Zabit have secured a belt and embarked on a title reign, or would Max Holloway and Alexander Volkanovski still have reigned supreme in the division regardless? Share your thoughts in the comments section below. Thank you all for joining me on this What If adventure. Even though Zabit retired without a title shot in reality, at least in this alternate scenario, he retires as a champion. Remember to hit that subscribe button for more dope MMA content, and until next time, stay tuned for more captivating What If scenarios. Thanks for watching.